Hi Archers! Today we're going to be doing a chapter 12 guide. I'm just going to jump right into it because this chapter is not super hard, so I will just walk you through it real quickly. I'll show you my equipment on the right or left here and the recommended abilities. But nearly everything in this chapter is stationary and it's just projectile heavy. So I would just say watch your character or watch in front of your character so you can avoid the projectiles. I'm going to pick up Bloodthirst here. Everything in this chapter is very tanky. So as you can see here, I am just quickly killing everything because I did get good RNG with Ricochet for the burst ability. And I also do have better stats than when I first beat it, but it did take a long time in terms of just doing a normal run because it was very tanky. So everything here has a lot of health. I would suggest using Meowgic or Helix for this chapter. Meowgic's cats work really well here, and Helix, if you do take damage, will do very well as well. And I highly recommend using an Epic Death Scythe because if you do have an Epic Death Scythe, the Epic Death Scythe has a headshot ability, and that headshot can really help in this chapter because everything is so tanky. Okay, so as you can see, I've already just gone through a bunch of the mobs. Just like I said, everything's really tanky, everything's just about dodging, and it's just very like machinery. I don't know if they're machines, but this one throws fire, this one throws electricity. You just gotta watch your character and stay out of the way. This is only 30 levels long, so it's not very long, but it can take a long time if you don't have a lot of damage. When I pick up Rage here, really lucked out with Rage. Rage is a really good ability on Meowgic, makes him very strong. So here we're just going to dodge everything again. Now we have the purple orbs, some more fire, and I think, yeah, that's just another fire. So if I didn't have, when I first did this chapter, it did take a very long time to just kill one. But the Death Scythe did really help with that because of the headshot ability. So if you do take a long time to kill it, I would suggest just leveling up your hero and the items that you need to level up, and that's pretty much it. And now we've got the first boss. So the first boss we have, let's see here, we're gonna pick up Fury. Yeah. Okay, so the first boss here is probably the hardest boss in my opinion. This boss spawns mobs, and I already tested if I would suggest taking out all the mobs as quick as you can, especially the bomber on the top right. They seem to always spawn in the same location. Because I had Ricochet here, Ricochet really helped against this boss because it just ricocheted to the bomber, but the bomber is a little bit hard to reach if you don't have Ricochet. And I've already tested if it makes a difference if you kill the mobs fast. Will it spawn faster? I found there was no difference. It just seemed to spawn randomly no matter what, or I wasn't sure if there was a time, but I found that there was really no difference. Sometimes it didn't spawn anything at all, even though everything was dead. Okay, so getting to level 12 here. We have, I don't know if these are ice or anything. I don't think I've actually watched my character when I got hit by one. But the bats, you definitely want to take out the bats as soon as possible because the bats can make you, will force you to reposition if you don't kill them fast enough, which can make it very hard. I try to stay in the general one area so I don't have to focus too much on every area I'm running into. So take out everything that runs towards you first, and then take out the machines. The electricity one I find to be the least problematic. Everything else is pretty okay. But the electricity one, you just have to stay out of the general zone. Okay, here we're gonna pick up Front Arrow, nice. That gives us way more damage, which is really good. For anything that's a red line, so the red line arrows, just if you don't know, let the attack set in and then move. So what I mean by that is you just kind of start a step to the side or step slightly to the side, and if it follows you, keep slightly stepping to the side, and if it doesn't follow you, then you can just reposition. You do not want any of the red lines to follow you. It makes everything so much harder, so you want to let that line set in. Okay, so now we have the purple guys. They're not that bad, but sometimes when they go crazy with their shooting, it can be very hard. There's not really much about this chapter. There's not really much to it. There's no secret tricks in my opinion because there wasn't really any strategy. It was pretty much it can be really hard if you do take a long time to kill everything because that means you have to dodge everything for much longer and it can get tiring. But other than that, it's not too bad. Okay, we're just gonna kill these monsters so I can get to the second boss. Like I said, there's no strategic play really, just watch your character or watch in front of you just to dodge all the projectiles. And the machineries are just really just the same. We should pick up Wingman is actually really good here, but we're going to pick up Giants because I was doing so well. But if you do have trouble avoiding things, Wingman is extremely good on this chapter. I actually wouldn't recommend picking up Giant if you're not the best at dodging, but because I didn't really have a problem with this chapter, I picked up Giant for that extra 40% attack. Giant, in my opinion, is very situational. In most cases, for chapters that are really hard, you don't want Giant, but because this chapter is on the easier side, I didn't feel like I was picking a risky ability. But Giant does make you bigger, so it does make everything like it can hit you much easier. Okay, I want to talk about those laser... Oh, actually, I'm going to take a long time to kill those, but those laser machines are probably the hardest. Because this machine just throws out different elements. I'm not even sure if they're elements, like different orb colors, elements, whichever. And just like I said, just watch your character and just move out of the way when the projectile comes. The fireballs are the fastest. The electricity ones are just stay out of the area, and the blue ones are very slow. So you have to kind of time everything, but it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward, pretty easy. A lot of attack would be very helpful on that. I'm going to pick up Rear Arrow, and I'll talk about the fire beams, the fire machine beams, because they are probably the trickiest of all of them, because you sometimes run into them, but it's just very simply have to just kill them first. Alright, so we're getting up to now we're just going to make our way to the last boss, who is not very hard in my opinion, but still a lot of dodging. As you can see, things are pretty tanky, but I do have Meowjic's cats, and I do have Rage, and I do have Front Arrow, and I do have Ricochet, so it's making everything a lot easier. But if I didn't have those abilities, then it would take a long time. So I had another run before this run, which was just all bad abilities. And it took me 15-16 minutes to finish it with really bad abilities, with perfect, epic / epic gear. So if you're below perfect, epic or / epic, you would really need the high damage to be able to pass this quickly. Okay, so I'm making the laser beam, guys. The fire laser beams are what I really want to talk about, but I want to be able to show you, so I don't just talk about it while we can't see them on the screen. Okay, just finishing off here. I want to reach 24 here soon. But in my opinion, this chapter is it's not super boring, but it was oh, here we go, the fire laser beams. So the laser beams, as you can see the red line where they're going to hit, but they stay there for quite a bit. So you want to really make sure that you don't run into them. It's not too bad here because I don't have really anything else to avoid, but I think they do change directions. I haven't played this chapter a whole lot because I didn't feel the need to. When I pick up Blaze here, this chapter was just a bit too easy, so I didn't feel like I needed to research this chapter a whole bunch. Okay. We are getting to the... Sorry, just concentrate on the street. It's not a live gameplay, this is a pre-recorded gameplay because I did not want to talk and play at the same time. It's so hard. So those bombs are the most problematic. I hate bombers in any chapter because they just throw things at you, and the projectile line is not as straightforward, so you don't really get to see it because you have to see the animation, but they are the most annoying. Okay, well, it's 28 here, so we're nearly up to the last boss. Just gonna finish these guys. Luckily, again, we have Ricochet. I very highly recommend that ability if you can get it. Multi-shot, front arrow, you know the good abilities. Okay. I will leave times. Oh, I guess it's no point of saying that now because this is the end. But I should say at the start that I was gonna leave timestamps. Okay, so here we have the fire lasers again. Now remember, they do stay there for a bit, so you have to make sure you don't run into them because that's the biggest thing I did with these guys. I always just ran into them. And now we're on to the last boss. We're going to pick up Bolt Strike here. There are 2 of them, so you want to take out one at a time. So I'm focusing the one on the left here. They're just like the second boss. They just throw a bunch of projectiles. and you just watch your character or watch in front of you to avoid them. As you can see, I'm like maneuvering up and down, left and right. I don't stay against the wall because I need all that space to dodge. I need to find every opening that I can. Okay, we killed him, and now we're just killing the last one. And we should get him here. It's not too bad. It's a lot easier when they're on the side and not just in front of you. But yeah, so that is pretty much it for the chapter. I'm going to kill him here anyway, so I might as well start the ending now. That's pretty much for chapter 12. Made a quick guide for this chapter because it's not too in-depth, to be honest. There's not a lot of things to be in-depth about with this chapter, but I hope it's helped you in some way, and I hope it's helped you beat chapter 12 if you're stuck on chapter 12. Because chapter 13 is going to be very, very rough. It's going to be very rough. I just beat it not too long ago, so I'll have a chapter 13 guide out very soon. But if you have any questions about this chapter that I have not covered in this video, please let me know in the comments down below. I thank you very much for watching. Please do subscribe and click the bell for more Archero videos. Any likes and comments would be so appreciated. I hope to see you again for the next one. Bye!